After Jinguji has developed his ability, he put his hand back in his pocket. A gray sparrow landed on his shoulder. It opened its beak and sprayed out of its mouth 12 identical black crows on the shoulders of others. The exasperated look on her face. Jingogi has never disappeared. Next, this battlefield will become an unknown area. Mayumi, it's your turn. Halloween's smile waved to him. Thank you. Your Jinguji tricks are as reliable as ever. Jinguji lazy to mind. Hawaiian quietly stepped aside. And I asked Kai Mayumilik to look Hoenn. After he nodded, slowly moved to the middle of the circle. She clasped her hands together into a transparent arm shape. Slowly pull a roll of paper from the temple Ra. Roll of paper opens against the snow, but there's not a single snowflake. I asked Kai Mayumi to kneel on the snow. She raised her hand to a long feather pen, and the piece appeared. You didn't take that bright red ink, because the previous reserves were used up. So you put your left hand out. Hands as white as snow. Long and thin feather pen in the right hand, sewn a little hesitantly, crashed down the arm. Red discharge. But don't waste a drop. I call Kai Mayumi extremely respectful. Started writing lines on a long roll of paper. After a long time, on the paper were thick red lines. Halloween and Jingogi go to. Look at the mysterious words on it. My face called Kai Mayumi a little pale. Clearly, the use of this power. It makes you spend too much energy. He said calmly that the enemy had arrived. Right to the west and north, there's 4 of us. There are also enemies hiding in the dark. Still hasn't shown up. Jinguji found only 2 teams came SAO. There were a lot fewer people this time than last time. Maybe they're all elites. Hawaii's face gave a deep smile. Or maybe it's just chess pieces. To get us to go out and explore our abilities. Jinguchi pushed the glasses with a confident voice. Just have Mayumi by your side. We'll never be tactically inferior. He looked at me and asked Kai Mayumi to come here. Tell us how to act. Mayumi lifted the scroll with her eyes turned to the west. Good. While everyone is talking, the teenager, Autism Sei Chu Moncho Gu, sitting flat. Close your eyes. His powers of demonic psychosis have been activated. 13 people of the lunar organization, everyone in his sight. It's all connected by a red thread. And the point of convergence of those red threads, lying on him. With his existence. No matter how far apart the 13 are, they can also contact each other quickly. It means information shielding function of Jiangnan area. It doesn't work for them. Halloween laughter is more fun. These guys think we can't break the perimeter without a signal. Or there's a trap waiting for us to jump in. They don't understand at all that AI is the prey. Who is the hunter? He rubbed the crow's head on his shoulder. The devil can help us communicate with each other. Phoenix, it could make it easier for us to find them. In the thick fog. Then, let's have a real fight. Let's celebrate. Let the oligarchs of the Jiangnam area know. The moon is a force that they can't tease. After I asked Kai Mayumi to finish divination, members of the Moon Foundation, he also received combat orders. Everyone's very optimistic about this campaign. Just follow my prophecy and call Kai Mayumi. They've never lost 7. Everyone leaves the original position. With the existence of the Black Crow, the fog is foggy. There seems to be no obstacle to them. However, Zinguji glued to the map on his mobile phone. Frown again. There are only 2 directions to the enemy. If you look at it from this angle, just leave a spot. This place is meant for us to escape. Or is there something else? Halloween smiled and patted him on the shoulder. There's no need to follow their rhythm. We have to take the initiative on the battlefield. You just have to believe Mayumi's prophecy. Jinguji frowned for a moment before nodding. You are the captain. How can you solve this problem? Never let your guard down. Even a little bit of it can be deadly. Halloween hands with him. Signal him to go quickly. He yelled softly. What a black raven mouth. On the Western Front. Martial Arts 10 with others, not in a hurry to proceed, waiting for the results of the investigation. The spirits of animals have walked through the rubble. Move to the front area. They share their senses with the dead. Just find out the enemy's clues. The wind will feel it right away. Suddenly, the vision of an animal appeared. A blinding white light. The next moment, it's completely lost in the rubble. Nin opened the eyes. One of my animals has been killed. The 10-way dance immediately became serious. Have you found a member of the Moon? Let's take a closer look. An animal was killed, but the dead remained calm. He can summon 138 animals at the same time. Has determined the direction of the animal's soul being killed. Maybe for other animals. Focus in its direction. Then identify the person who arrived. The police immediately sent 10 animals around. That animal to start scouting the situation. There are other animals. He was ordered to retreat. The area west of Nin Tooth Square is not very large. Very quickly 10 animals have fled from the rubble. Go to the real members, Moon. But what's waiting for them is a very large gun barrel. The police officer immediately recognized his identity. Right hand holding a giant black 6 gun. The type of attack is energy bullets. Gunner of the Akira Lunar Organization. Kurozawa's division. The animals have just appeared. Kuro had shot them down one by one. The devil knows he doesn't have much time. He quickly took advantage of the fleeting perspective, remnants of other animals, to observe the mutants around. In addition to Akira, there are 2 people slowly moving towards this direction. One is the guy with the typical Sama hairstyle. He's ordering the crows on his shoulders right now. The mouse is controlled. You see, this place has a lot to deal with. The crow on his shoulder heard the order to fly. And the third, seeing his body. The pupils of Nin's central membrane suddenly constricted. He really is fucking. Why are we so unlucky? He just finished talking to all the animals he sent. All are destroyed cleanly. The terrified woman stood up and gasped. 3 dancers 10 directions see they cannot help but startled. In the middle of the night, what do you see? What is it? It scares you so much. The nail in the desert flashed with indignation. He grinds his teeth and says we've met that monster. After this sentence, the face of the dance The danger and the fakery become serious. They've all seen the power of the Daiku engine. In the first battle, just alone, he easily destroyed 2 whole teams of mutants. Of the known enemies, he is surely the most dangerous, who no one wants to meet the most. I saw the anger of the dead. It was 10 minutes cold for an hour. I have a little contempt for him in my heart. If you meet a bad person, then you don't have to be so afraid. It doesn't have 2 shoulders and 1 head. I can't believe the 4 of us can't fight him. It's an enhanced mutant with infinite power. He is also a hero of one side. Power is still standing on the Kwak Kwang and Strong Library that the Iranian Jin Daiku destroyed. In addition, there are capable teammates to support. Then he believes that they can fight with the Daiku engine. Ning hugged his head. He gritted his teeth, but he wasn't alone. He also brought 2 assistants. Even if we beat them 4 times, it's hard to beat them. Maybe they will die. The 10-way dance is very calm. But don't forget, our goal is not to defeat them. Just pull their feet for a moment. At that point, we can definitely do it. The captains of all 3 teams have extraordinary temperament. The appraiser of the Great Zone. It's not an option to choose a meal. The character of the dance is big but careful. Not afraid of danger. 10 countries have sent information to the headquarters. Team B encountered the enemy. There are 3 names. Daiku Injin included Ayoshimiju Sakuraba and Akira Kurosawa. Division. The General Department has received the information. The center's 10 analysts. Combat Commander. Immediately start working on the computer. Analyze the strategies of these 3 people, and through the algorithm, find the optimal response. Chu looked at the report submitted by his subordinates. You can tell the 10-way dance immediately. Let's fight them as planned. They pull their feet and try to force them. Use of heterosexuality. Create a breakthrough for the Angel team. The 10-year-old ended the conversation with the president. Then look at the 3 people next to you. Came here today. Then let's put life and death out of our heads for now. Feel free to fight them. Even though SAO for Hitba, we still have the upper hand. With Dance 10 directions to say, Gypsy is his home. Once this country is no more, his relatives and friends will all be wiped clean. So he had to risk his life to fight. 3 people were heaving in. I don't think there was such a great spirit of sacrifice. But came to this country. They can't back down. 5 during the battle. It's not just about losing your reputation. It also paid by the Jiangnam area. At the risk of 1 life. A bet to win a future. You can grind your teeth. Then risk your life to fight them. I want to see it. How much weight do these pink folks have? 4 people form a rhombus formation, according to the original plan, with a universe of 10 amplification multiplication methods standing in front of it. The land and the sea are divided on both sides, and fake cranes standing in the back. A tall black shadow slowly appeared in the fog. The Daiku engine. He is a Corona lover. It's the highest level of sumo wrestling. Then there's Ayoshimizu Sakuraba and Akira Kurosawa. Division is smiling excitedly. With the help of the Grey Crow, they can easily find the enemy, even in the thick fog. So it doesn't take any energy. In front of the 10-way dance and others. When I saw the Daiku engine for people, I suddenly frowned. revealing 7 Hope. They're not an elite team, sent by the Jiangnam area. Why does it look so weak? Ayoshimizu Sakura bug giggling. Maybe the firecrackers were sent to spy on us. Just take care of it. I think their main team will be in the back. Daiku Ianjin nods. Then you don't have to spend time with them. I see the real members. Don't keep an eye on me. All for dancers are angry. Even though they don't speak the same language, but they have devices that translate. It doesn't affect them. Understand what the enemy is saying. Little Ra, they're also a bunch of heroes on the outskirts. Even if it can't be compared to the elite team. Well-trained Snowstorm City. Then it's not the kind that's easy for people to shape at will. Dance 10 angry directions say, our father is determined. You seem to be wrong. Listen to these words. Ayoshimitsu Sakuraba looks a bit insane. Keep moving your hands. No, but don't get me wrong. He and Akira Kurosawa took a step back. Then Ayoshimizu Sakuraba points to Daiku Engine. Your enemy is only him. We will make sure that we do not intervene. His eyes flashed with great interest. If you have the power, just kill him. The troops in the north also encountered their enemies. In Nintooth Square, less than 5 kilometers wide. Fighting is easy. Moreover, the lunar eclipse was led by a black crow. So before I'm sure the moon is found. Then they found out. The team in the north. The enemy is only 2. A muscular man with a grim square face. Wearing thick black glasses. And a horse racing thug. The light breathing in my heart. Because according to information, fighting power, that these 2 showed up in the first battle. Not too terrible. Based on previous information, spaceship and others, they quickly learned the identity of the enemy. These 2 are Kamiya Wido and Akiyu Kurosawa. At least compared to the enemy that the Tenway universe encounters. These 2 men don't show any fighting power, especially strong. Combat Command Center. He saw the information the 2 teams sent him. He also began to analyze. 13 members of the organization. 5 people have now appeared. That means there's still 8 people who haven't shown up. Even if you don't count people who don't have to fight. Then there must also be at least 6 super-powered individuals. Main Zhou against Chin, the cold eyes staring at the lens of all the mutants on the big screen. Then he remembered Trong Yi. Now we have to see how Zhang's situation is. Surprisingly, the southeast direction that Zhang Yi was in charge of, they've been waiting for quite a while. But the result? No member of the lunar eclipse appears. The gun at the top of the building. Look at the surrounding space. Waiting for the enemy to appear. Feed them right away. This is the edge of Jiangnin Square. Very little limited fog. He's still able to observe space. Within a radius of 300 meters around. It's just that this place has just been bombed. The ground still remains high temperature. So we can't use infrared devices. After absorbing part of the strength of the raw non-stomach. Now, all the capabilities of the translation program are significantly enhanced, even if it's just a normal sniper rifle. Fell into his hands, become a powerful weapon of mass destruction. This weapon is a super weapon. Extremely suitable for him, after being improved by 6 Revelation. lightning sniper precision him bullets. Even Delta-level superpowers. It can also be fatal. 2 on his side. Flowering and browsing vigilance, in case the enemy steals. Flowers squatting on the balcony. Amber eyes sweeping around like radar. The predatory instincts of animals make it possible to quickly to detect every creature that appears around. And Tran Pepper and Peng Glass. He is now carefully waiting under the building. Enemies appear in the Tanwei dance and Trach danced. Make Zhang Yi more cautious. The enemy will soon appear in his place. But time goes by minute by second. In their communications equipment, there was a killing on the other side. The fog in this area hasn't even changed. I can't help but frown. Well, what's going on here? According to reason, if the moon possesses strong reconnaissance capabilities, I'm sure they soon discovered their presence. Why did he wait so long? But the enemy still doesn't move. Or the pupils shrink. There's a possibility in my heart. What kind of power that group of people has? I have seen the power of Zhanji. That's why fear and vigilance arise. I dare not send someone later. Zhang Yi muttered to himself. What kind of power do they have after all? He's wary in his heart, thinking that his opponent is unpredictable. It's terrible. The superpowered world is like that. A little carelessness will kill you, erased by a strange and mysterious power. Because every superpower mutates, it's all about the unknown. Any kind of strange supernatural powers, any mystery can appear. He told the browser and the flower next door. Be careful. Once any abnormal situation is detected, the first thing we have to do, it's about protecting your own life. Salary. Hoa Hoa and Hoa Hoa, see Trong so cautious. Expressions also become a lot more serious. The flower turns into a giant shape. In his mouth came a watchful growl. The head looks left and right, afraid of missing any enemy. Surprise attack from the dark. The Lunar Eclipse Organization team, with the reminder of Xing Gogi. Huaying also recognizes blank spots on the map. He rubbed his chin and muttered. Mayumi's divination is definitely not wrong. That's in the area from east to south. No enemy exists. What the enemy is up to. Halloween is not fun. He doesn't like the feeling. It's not under control like this. But now, he completed. I don't understand the purpose of the South Pole. Right now, Zuka Modanapuniga, you have not come to the battle. Don't bother. Let's go over there. He turned his head and looked at me and called Kai Mayumi. Even though Sao Mayumi said, going south today is good news. Halloween smiles, right? If Mayumi said it, there would be no problem. Nobunaga, that direction delivered to you. Let's see what the enemy does. Halloween waving hands. Tell couple Takafumi and Nanako next door. You two go with Nobunaga. Yes, old man. Takafumi and Nanako have no opinion. Two people Theo Nobunaga with a look on his face. The black crow on his shoulder pointed them forward. Team 10, Oriental, was the first team to encounter the real moon. Fighting broke out. First from their side is with Daiku Injine. Combat Command Center. And Team of Angels. They can all see their fighting. Even to the noblest of gods. Right now, he also took back his playful attitude. Look at the picture on the screen. Pride is not arrogance. Deng's greatness is because of him. I've never been careless on any task. If not, I can do it for 3 months in a row, leading the ranking of accumulated points of the blizzard. To use a great man's phrase to describe it is, the strategy must despise the opponent. The strategy must respect the opponent. That's how it works. Before, without exploring the true power of the moon, even though the 3 armies on the outskirts were all sacrificed, the angels will not act. Everything is for the final victory. On the battlefield on the Tenway side, the war is coming. Ayoshimiju Sakuraba with Akira Kurosawa. Division as nothing. Quietly back to the back. To show that they did not intervene in this battle. They even went 10 meters away and sat down by a fallen pole. He stared at the giant in front of him. Silently calculate, these guys don't see us at all. But as much as possible, one enemy, our 4 abilities combined, there is a chance to defeat him. In the heart of the dance, 10 directions cannot help but get a little excited. If possible, killed a key member of the lunar eclipse. They will get a lot of points from the total. Set area. Daiku Y and Jin stared at them. Then lazily raise your arm. What are you waiting for? 4 hit one that you are afraid of. Right now, the body also has a strange change. Then his body began to crumble. It soon split into 2 parts. A large yellow patch of meat, separated from half of his body, and then fall to the ground flexibly. It's like a massive dough mixed with too much water. But soon after, that thick mass of object is bulging up, gradually morphed into the form of a person. That's a man. Looks exactly like the Tenway dance. This is the power of the Tenway universe, body image creation. Currently standing in front of, Daiku Ing is no longer a fake powerhouse. It's 2 people. 10 ways to grind your teeth, so come here. He hands out. Take a giant weapon box from behind. It's a black metal box. If you don't look closely, people thought it was a small coffin. Sound an hour. The giant weapon box crashed to the ground. Weapons 10 ways to open the weapon box. This weapon box has 2 sides. He took out from inside a giant silver bullhorn bow. Give the body. And he took it out from the other side. 2 giant copper thread trees. Wielding the weapon of the martial arts master of the Han dynasty. It is also rumored that the general, the most powerful of the 8 generals, the weapon of the world's first great warrior. Size of copper holder, it's twice as big as an adult's head. Each tree is cast from solid metal that weighs more than 100 pounds. Tell 10 to your team. I will control him from the front. You can use your tricks to attack. The others say nothing, but the eyes are all staring at Daiku Ing Jin. It's an anthropomorphic animal. Daiku Ing Jin doesn't even transform. Whether it's language or actions, they all show extreme contempt. Oh, it seems so powerful. What's the point? It makes you look even more alive. He's finished assembling his crystal. Depending on the hands, it immediately made a rustling wind. The Tenway dance just ended. Who was like a whirlwind rushing towards the Daiku Ing Jin. His body is also at the same time holding the arrow. The bow is a giant silver bow that looks like a full moon. Swipe an hour. The wind's tearing like a falcon. The speed of the arrow is no different than the speed of the body. 10-way dance from two directions, Lao towards Daiku Ingjin. Second illusion of the 10-way universe in the background, constantly shooting arrows at Daiku Ingjin. Daiku Ingen eyes slightly condensed, swinging the star set to immediately fly that foggy arrow. On the other side of the body, heavy pursuit of the 10-way weapon was aggressively banged. He use a cold weapon when hit, even if it's just a part of the body. It also makes people lose quickly. Ability to fight. This double-sided attack of the 10-way weapon, it makes it difficult for people to react in time. Daiku Ingjin is not a speed mutant, so you can't just fly an arrow. Just dodged. Face the tree, only heavily attacked too. He's just doing a simple movement. A big rough hand, quickly catch the blow, as strong as the thunder of the 10 winds. VA force touch giant at even Daiku Ingjin. I can't help but take 3 steps back. He's a little surprised to see the 10-way power and DTO. But I was in a cold sweat because of this. He attacked with all his might. He was held up by an opponent with one hand. How much physical strength and power this has to be. 10-way dance grinds its teeth for an hour. Holding 2 heavy lead sticks, continued to charge. The tree just fell heavy. But this time, Daiku Ingjin is back in her hands. Metal VA sound together makes the listener dazzle. Daiku Ingjin, just lightly touched, has caused the 10-way weapon to fly out more than 10 meters. The 10-way dance just feels numb in the back. Severe pain. Keep your head down. He just discovered that his hands were trembling. Dance 10 scary directions. The power difference is so big. Since the end of the world broke out, he's in the city of Jiangnin. It's mostly based on the power to be noble. Still the first time, he felt his power being crushed. Without pity. Daiku Ingjin is not angry. The opposite. I'm interested in laughing and waving my hand at the dance. Come again. As soon as he withstands a frontal assault, his teammates also reacted. A crab out of the air. Daiku Ingjin on her back. The crab's eyes glowed with a strange red glow. Until Daiku Ingjin reacted. There was a loud explosion behind him. The corners of her mouth grew heavy, and Nin gave a happy smile. It worked. Looks like he's not as scary as I thought. The last attack is that it's combined with the power of the hazard rate next to. The danger is like punishment. It's an extremely rare space system. It's just that his ability is different from Zhang Yi's. Zhang Yi's ability is to receive. His ability is to move. In space, he can move a certain number of objects, even humans. It was he who used his power. Put the self-righteous spirit of the desert on you, Daiku Ingjin, and then activate the matching skill. After the smoke from the explosion, Daiku Ingjin's face is extremely unsightly. Behind his back is a black hole. The entire back of his shirt was burned. While it's nearby, Aoshimizu Sakuraba witnessed this scene. I can't help but clap my forehead. We're done with this. They don't know that. This suit is what Daiku likes the most. That? Akira Kurosawa's division nodded at his body. It's hard to find a suit that fits you. This is because he is special. Let's make a tailor for him. But they came this time. It was a lot stronger than last time. Daiku Ingjin eyes sparkled with wonder, as if to eat the enemy alive. He tore all his clothes apart. It's not muscle rolling. It's kind of fat and toned. Eyes who really understand martial arts know that. This is the best way to fight. Fuck you guys. You're ruining my last suit. I will tear you apart. His back was burnt black, but there's no wound. Dance 10 ways to recognize the anger of Daiku engine. Tell your team. The attack is effective. We continue. I want to recreate the results of the first attack. The devil swallowed the saliva of my self-righteous animal. They can't fight to pierce his defenses. The power of the self-righteous spirit, not inferior to TNT dynamite. Dance 10 directions clenched to maces. Jump to the Daiku engine. Meanwhile, his body is also bowing. Shot towards Daiku engine. Nin desert and dangerous rate. Let's continue to work together. Just waiting for the time. Daiku Jin is controlled by 10 ways to lose focus. Is to put a self-deprecating animal on him. Although the initial effect is only limited, they are crowded. Can be continuously tested. Like that, you'll find the weakness of the Daiku engine. But this time, they got it wrong. Daiku Jin is no longer in the mood to joke. He raised his hands. Pinky top set active attack. He is over 2 meters tall. The top is more than 3 meters long. Slash straight into the head of the dance 10 directions. The reaction speed of the 10-way weapon is not slow. 2 hands in front of you. The moment the weapons intersect, dance 10 directions feel his 2 arms. It's like being hit by a 10-ton truck. Straight in. His hands were immediately paralyzed. The lead in my hand was blown away. On the verge of death, he reacts quickly. Rolling around on the ground. Prevent the crystal from falling. Dance 10, the whole body is cold thinking. He and I are not at the same level. Now wear heavy nin and dangerous rolls, nor waste the opportunity. In the blink of an eye that the universe created. They put a self-righteous animal on Daiku Jin's head. Daiku Jin cold face. Hand grabs the self-deprecating animal spirit pulled down. Then put it in the middle of the palm of the left hand. Boom, the animal soul blew itself up. The explosion was as powerful as TNT. Now it's as useless as a fart. The palm of Daegu Jin. It's just a pale black smoke. His face didn't show any pain. The palms of his thick flesh intact. No harm. Daiku Jin chuckled. Your strength is too weak. With that kind of power, they dare to chase us. It's not about death. The power of Daiku Jin. It made 3 people gasp. There's a huge disparity in skill and ability. However, at this time, the ground beneath Daiku Jin's feet broke. His giant body also lost its momentum. What he jerked people off to say. In the tires of the earth, a giant gray monster came out. It's a very large mole, over 2 meters long, with those cool red eyes. Suppose you have the power to speak aloud. No matter how much power you have, it can't be done without a fulcrum. Right? Old Crane Stud tells with shrill sound ear and grotesque. When Daiku Jin fell to the ground, he used his sharp claws to stab him. The target he's aiming for is the weakest place on the Daiku Jin. Anal. Even as a strong man, their anus is always fragile. This is the first time Daiku Jin feels the flow of danger. He screamed to death in anger. Finally, Daiku Ing Jin has also used his powers. Mythical creatures of the lake tide rank. Hot air gushing out from his limbs. Immediately flew the giant weasel. By the family of cranes. A stream of hot air rising from the slump. It makes the outsiders feel like a 10-way dance. I feel like I'm being burned by a fire. A giant brown figure soaring into the air. Then aggressively fall to the ground. Beneath the ground, the family of cranes is constantly acting. He frantically digs the ground. Hi, 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 I'm on the ground, what can you do to me? Just give me the right opportunity. I will definitely gut you. Daiku Y and Jin's eyes stared at the ground. The next moment, he lifted his right leg, then stomped down. Crazy mouth roared.